inflation being the highest in nearly 40 years. President Joe Biden says he thinks things are getting better.
Help is on the way. Could it be stimulus checks, maybe up to $1,400 checks? Millions of Americans would love to see checks hit their mailbox or their bank accounts. Stay tuned because all that information is right here in this video. Hey, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to another show. I hope that you're staying warm, maybe drinking a hot cup of cocoa because it is freezing outside. We are in the state of Tennessee and it's been around 20 to 30 degrees on average, and man, is that cold. But maybe you live in a northern state that says, hey, that's warm considered to what we're dealing with. So let us know down in the comments below how cold it is in your state. Now, we have a ton of information. My name's John Muro, bringing you the news that stimulus checks, the most up-to-date information and things that you need to know on a daily basis. We have so much news on stimulus. We have news on what's going on in the country, and we're going to finish it off with some giveaway information. So all of that being said, thank you for watching. Let's dive in. So right here on the screen, a diesel shortage update as the U.S. supply will barely make it through the winter. Now we know that after reporting the lowest inventory since 2008, when the highest demand season was approaching, U.S. diesel supplies have slightly increased in early November, though prices for the distillate fuel remain high. Everything that we've been dealing with, from inflation, high grocery prices, the war in Ukraine, has had some hand in dealing with the production of diesel fuel. Now, the last time you've driven through a actual gas station to put gas, maybe you drove by it, you still noticed that gas was actually going down, but diesel, man, it was still very high. And it's one of those things that I'm glad I don't have a diesel truck like I wanted to, because I use a ton of fuel throughout the week, going to work, helping out with our local church, and man, that would cost a ton of money. But there again, my heart goes out to our truck drivers, the companies that have to pay to put food on the shelves, keep these restaurants stocked. I mean, it really takes a hit on everybody, because I don't know when's the last time you went through a McDonald's drive-thru, but the last time I went for just me, my wife, and my 2-year-old, I spent $27. We just got the regular meal. He got a Happy Meal. And I'm saying, man, this is where inflation is really making it difficult on the average American. So if you're like me and you know that things need to change, then smash that like button. If you want to stay up to date on news and information, love giveaways, and hey, you just hope that America does better, then hit that subscribe button and smash that like button. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I've got some updated information on stimulus checks, but wait a minute. What does Joe Biden have to say about inflation? Let's take a watch.
He said the economy grew 2.6% last quarter, and there are low unemployment numbers, and inflation is slowing down. He credited the Inflation Reduction Act to the slowing inflation. This comes as airline tickets hit the highest they've been in nearly a decade, and Thanksgiving dinner will be the most expensive in 37 years.
So to finish that up, Biden says inflation help is coming, but it will take some time. President Joe Biden cautioned on Friday that it's going to take some time for the inflation to recede, but he offered some fresh assurance that the legislation he signed earlier this year will soon help limit costs for the healthcare and the energy. He made remarks while meeting with the business and labor leaders in the first public event since returning from an around-the-world trip to Egypt, Cambodia, and Indonesia. Biden has been encouraged by the Democrats' stronger than expected performance in the midterm election, but he could be entering a perilous stretch when it comes to the economy. The White House has emphasized strong job markets to try to allay concerns about potential recession. However, the Federal Reserve continues to try to slow economic growth by raising interest rates to battle inflation. Now, whether you want to blame Joe Biden or just blame COVID in its sense, the pandemic, we're not really in the best situation when it comes to our economy. Now, in this sense right now, we know that we're relying on his decisions, the administration's decisions, and actually the government in general to help make the right moves with the federal government that, you know what, inflation comes to a stop. Now, we know that it's going to take time. Yes, I agree. So this leads me to this question. The budget's flush and many states are sending checks to residents right there on the screen. You see it. Does this call for stimulus checks to be sent out? Now, I know that the recession is looming off in a distance somewhere. Some say that we're already in it. Some say that we're getting very, very close. So is this now the time for Joe Biden to send out stimulus checks up to $1,400? Do you think so? Let me know down in the comments below. But I really truly believe that if the checks were going to go to anybody, it would go to, number one, our seniors, those on a fixed income like Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA, but last but not least, the low income. Now, I know that the middle class, they live paycheck to paycheck. But can you imagine what it's like for those on the low income? Those in that bracket, those on the poverty level bracket? I mean, this really has hurt so many Americans' budget and billfold, where families had to come together in order just to put a roof over their head. And this is not the American dream. This is not something that we grew up saying, yeah, I would love to struggle trying to buy groceries, put food on the table, try to get down the road. And this is where stimulus checks would help make things better. Now, their budget's flush. Many states are sending checks to residents. In fact, up to 20 are using some of their budget surpluses to help taxpayers deal with high inflation, but some economists worry that the payments could fuel inflation. Now, you're always going to have a debate when it comes to stimulus checks, whether we should or shouldn't send them out. But if this is really the focal point, the whole point of a stimulus check is to do what? Help people financially. So instead of trying to send them to everybody, let's send them to people who really need them the most, okay? Like I said, those on Social Security, seniors, those on a low income that literally are worried about putting food on the table. Those are the people that really need that help financially. And if we target that certain section, then I don't think that it's really going to hurt inflation much more than what it already is. So as many as 20 states, depending on who's counting, are offering one-time rebates or expanded tax credits that ups from a handful last year, which is very, very positive news. The state payments are often smaller than the stimulus checks sent by the federal government, but yet it's still helping people out. Now, leading economists say they worry because they would fuel inflation. Now, New Mexico, for instance, offered up to $1,500 rebates and direct relief. Some residents can file a 2021 state tax return as late as May 31st of next year and still be eligible for that payment. California jumped on board, giving up to $1,050. Still others, like South Carolina, limit rebates to people who had a tax liability in 2021. Many people who ended up owing no tax last year won't get a rebate. These rebates are worth up to $800. Then some states have sent rebates, as Massachusetts law requires that the tax revenue over the state's annual tax revenue cap be returned to taxpayers. If it goes over what they're supposed to be receiving, then it definitely needs to go back. New York started sending rebates to homeowners, and then you carry on to New Jersey, expanding the eligibility for property tax rebates with the Anchor Tax Relief Program. Now, many of these states have really targeted those who are on a very, very low income or on a fixed income, and this is very alarming because it's really those people that need help. Other states offering some type of rebate or credit are Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Maine, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Virginia. Now, I do know that North Carolina, Texas, Louisiana, Arizona, they haven't been on the list, and I'm sorry that they haven't. Ohio again, but it's because their state hasn't even done anything to get on the list, whether or not they're proposing some sort of stimulus check for their residents. But I promise you that once they do, I will be giving you that news. So this is something that I want to make sure that everybody knows exactly what is going on to when it comes to stimulus checks. And again, many states are sending them to their residents, and you heard it here, right here on this channel about all this news. And not only that, but you've seen it right here on the screen. So guys, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Your love and support means the world to me. Thank you for joining our membership. And I also want to leave you with some giveaway information. And if you let us know that you are our #1 fan, then you get your name drawn into a drawing to where you have a chance to win some free money. As well as if you like movies, and many of you viewers do, then you can let us know. Follow these steps. Let us know you love movies and which movie quote line this came from right here.
Talking to my guy all wrong. It's wrong tone. Do it again, I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
Man, that never gets old. I can listen to that all the time. That movie was great in general. They don't make them like that anymore. But if they do, let me know which movie you think would be just as good. So guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Stay warm. It's going to be cold out there. And until next time, I'm John Miro. Peace.